Welcome back to a course on calculus RS integration. In this lecture, we are going to see a theorem which states if f is a mapping which maps the closed interval a comma b into rk, and if f is RS integrable for some monotonically increasing function. Let me write it completely. For some monotonically increasing function alpha on the same interval AB, then we will have to prove absolute of f is also RS integrable and absolute of integral a to b fd alpha is smaller than or equals integral a to b absolute of fd alpha. This one we have proved for the functions of single variable, right? That is the functions defined on the real line. We have done these things. Now we are talking about these things for the vector valued function. Now we will have to pay some attention and understand what kind of functions these are, right? It is given that f maps a comma b into rk, which means your f of x is going to be what? The coordinates f1 of x, f2 of x till fk of x. So this is going to be our function f, right? It is given that this function is RS integrable, which means each of this is RS integrable. This one is RS integrable for I runs from 1 to k. Okay, only then we can say f is RS integrable. Now we will have to prove absolute of f. What do we mean by absolute of f here? Since this f lands in Rk, so this is a member of Rk. What is the absolute value of an element in Rk? That we know by the standard Euclidean metric definition. So that is what we are going to apply. And when you make absolute of f, that becomes a function, that becomes some value. Actually, it is some value. This value has to be taken over for all the values in the interval AB. Therefore, your absolute of f is a function in real line. Okay, so the integral value that we are talking here is on the real line, not on rk. Okay, and even though if you integrate, that is going to give you a tuple value, and when you take absolute value, that becomes a value in r. So finally you are comparing two values in the real line only. Let us start the proof formally. If f1 f2 till fk is the okay not is if these are components of f, then your absolute of f is nothing but f1 squared f2 squared till fk squared, and for which we'll have to take the square root, right? Since f is rs integrable on ab, each fi or fj is rs integrable on the same interval ab, where j runs from 1 to k, right? Each fi is rs integrable by the product rule of functions and r. This each fj is rs integrable on a real line only, right? So this lands in r only. So fj product with fj, that is what? Fj square is rs integrable on ab. Okay, when this is so, Of course, what? Summation j runs from 1 to k f j square is also RS integrable by the property that when two functions are RS integrable, their sum is also RS integrable, and that can be extended for any number of functions. When all these things are true, then we can very well say that summation j runs from 1 to k fj square to the power 1 upon 2 is RS integrable on AB. This is true only when the term which is inside the under root is non-negative. Here, fj, when you make fj squared, it means that is a non-negative quantity. When you make a sum of non-negative quantities, that is also a non-negative quantity, and we get this one. Next, we consider, let y be the function y1, y2, etc. till yk. Okay, this is a member of Rk where each yj is integral a to b fj d alpha. We know that integral of some function with respect to anything is going to land in some finite value. So when you calculate these k integrals and put them in a coordinate, put them as a vector, that is what we take it as y. And of course, this y may be said as integral a to b f d alpha. This f is a vector value function, right? So what is absolute of y square? It is simply summation I runs from 1 to k y I squared, or we may take, since we have used j, it is yj squared, right? And this one we write it as j runs from 1 to k, and for yj let me write it as yj itself, and the other yj I am replacing with integral a to b fj d alpha. Okay, one thing I am keeping as it is and the other thing I am replacing. When I do so, this summation and integral can be interchanged, and this results in integral a to b summation j runs from 1 to k yj fj d alpha, right? This can be done. Now we are going to make use of the squares inequality. By the Cauchy squares inequality, what do we get? We get your summation j runs from 1 to k yj fj of t is smaller than or equals absolute of y absolute of f of t, where t runs in this interval. Okay, and using one of the previous theorem, what we can write is that absolute, okay, this one, by the results discussed, absolute of y square is smaller than or equals absolute of y, and integral a to b absolute of f d alpha, and we mark this as equation 1, right? Now what are we going to do? If y is 0, this integral value is 0, then what happens? Then the requirement, that is integral a to b f d alpha, is smaller than or equals integral a to b this one d alpha is trivial if this is not 0. Then divide equation 1 by absolute of y. Then we get what? we get absolute of y less than or equals integral a to b absolute of f d alpha, and this very well tells you that your integral a to b f d alpha is smaller than or equals integral a to b absolute of f d alpha, and this completes the proof. So with which we have come to the end of the discussions on real analysis. We have covered all the topics of real analysis for the undergraduate program, and I would like to upload few more videos on this real analysis for problem solving, which I will do soon. Thank you.